All right, so we took a break here, and our last part of our presentation now is what do we do? How do we do it? Well, of course, we talked about various ways in planning here in the last couple sessions, but co-teaching is oftentimes how people see collaboration. And co-teaching is complex. Co-teaching actually tends to fall under 6 models, and I want to review those with you. And it does go with the parity, shared responsibility, the idea that there's equality, all those components of collaboration that many of you are probably reading right now in this paragraph. So I'll let you read that at your leisure. Of course, the presentation is a PDF that you can take a look at later on as well. So with that thought in mind, first of all, there is a level of rapport amongst professionals, especially those that are co-teaching. And so I love this video, and so we'll offer this as an example in terms of that, how rapport is necessary. It needs to be a bit heartfelt as well.
Look, Lindsay, I'm real sorry if I upset you before. I truly am. I probably should have asked you why you stopped taking your medication, and to be honest with you, I was hoping you'd be able to give me the answer to that one right about now. Sue, Lindsay. It must be kind of cool having the same name as that Lindsay Lohan. Gosh, she's super cool. Just between you, me, and the IV, I guess I've probably seen confessions of a teenage drama queen. Oh, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. What a film.
That girl is a robot. I spent 3 hours in there and got goose egg.
It's so odd that she didn't respond to you because you know so much about teenage girls.
All right, look, Barbie, I'm about to say 4 words that I've never said to you before that I'll never say again. Go on, get out of here. I need your help.
Fine, but I have 3 rules. 1, when we're in the room, you say nothing. 2, I get to say whatever I want about you. And 3, if you break rule 1 or 2, I get to boing your curls.
The hell does boing mean?
Boing.
Oh God, this is gonna kill me.
All right, so the reason I like this video is, well, actually, the actor there, he has a son with Down syndrome, so I've kind of gravitated towards him. I think the show is called Scrubs, but and I did cut it off before she gets into her solution, but he's going in a bit of a consultation, but more of a collaboration. And of course, the rapport initially, the rapport with the young lady was necessary. And so to me, yes, it's a little disconnected, but the overall idea is that when 2 folks need to work together, they need to have a comfortable relationship, they need to have rapport. And by the way, if you don't have it, the children are going to see it right from the get-go. They're not going to feel comfortable, and therefore that in of itself is going to make it very, very difficult. All right. Also, we need to be on the same page. And so we don't need to be identical. And oftentimes bringing in different strengths oftentimes allows us to really magnify and take advantage of that collaborative experience. But we also need to be at least in the same world of how we see instruction. And so I think most of us would have difficulty working with a professional like this.
Mr. Grimes, mathematics teacher, is displeased with the progress of his 9th grade class in mathematics.
You see what low grades you made on your weekly mathematics test? More than half of you failed. Most of those who passed just got by. Nobody had 100%. This is the poorest class I've had in a long, long time. Most of you have no foundation at all. Now, the trouble's with your attitude. You don't pay enough attention in class. You don't do enough work outside of it. You don't know what the word study means. You haven't the slightest idea. Don't you realize that mathematics is an important subject?
Now you get this sense. And now, by the way, some of you may say, well, wait a minute here. I know some teachers, maybe a little color to it, but I know some teachers I just can't get along with professionally. And by the way, there's some good evidence, good research to show when we establish a collaborative experience and collaborative environment, and that would be from top down. Leadership brings in, we say we're going to collaborate. They give structure to it. They give some a paradigm shift to it. We'll find that teachers are, when 2 teachers come in with different styles, with the right type of support and the right type of leadership, we'll find that a cohesive classroom can be created. And folks will compromise, and folks will adjust, and folks will learn new tricks, so to speak. And so, FYI, co-teaching can also not only be successful for the students, but be successful in altering the professional attitudes and styles and roles and responsibilities of professionals as well. So a lot of powerful things can happen with the right type of structure for co-teaching. Okay, so with that said, there's 6 models. So one is one teach, one observe. Now, why is one observing? Well, lots of different reasons. One observes for everything from understanding what's taking place, identifying some of the challenges that are happening during the instruction, coming up with ideas through the observation of maybe behavioral components, suggestions in terms of the instruction, what they tried to do in their goals and whether or not they were met. And if not met, what could we do, adjust and revise? So a lot of power with that one teacher, one observe. And by the way, the one observing is not always is static. That observer could actually be going back and forth with respect to the roles. Now, that might be one model, but we don't use that model necessarily all the time. We then may go into, for example, a one teach, one assist. Here, now one teacher is still central to that lesson, to that day, and the one assisting is moving around and offering the additional support, maybe targeted support to certain individuals. Maybe it's the fact that we're about to do a group activity and that one that's going around is assisting folks in terms of some of that structure, while the one teacher is offering that further direction, offering more direction in terms of the instruction. And again, it could be malleable. I could go from an observer to an assister, back and forth. But from the get-go, I know what my role is, and I'm facilitating that. There's also parallel teaching, and parallel teaching is exactly what that visual shows, and that is, again, on occasion, what we do is that both teachers are covering the same information simultaneously, but we may be grouping the individuals. We may group them as identical groups in terms of some individuals that struggle, some individuals that already have it, but by making it smaller, we're able to make it more intensive and more supportive. Or it might be the fact that at certain levels, it could be when it comes to reading, for example, some individuals are well beyond others, and so we'll group it for that so we can really enrich some and really provide explicit instruction and additional support to others. So that's parallel teaching. And by the way, we could do this in the middle and high school level as well in respect to parallel teaching for different language. We could do English language arts and social studies at the same time. We could do parallel teaching for, again, those that need more supports, things of that nature. Station teaching, again, is that as well. So here we group, and again, we could repeat the instruction. So where parallel teaching is more potentially grouping for we're doing the same instruction, station teaching is station rotation. So think about this. So I may be with a special educator and a general educator, and so the general education teacher is covering X, Y, and Z with a certain type of intensity with strategies. General ed teacher is doing something different, then we rotate. And so every student is getting the same thing, but in a smaller group, more intensive support. And by the way, with station rotation, you may have independent stations going on where they're doing practice, where they're doing supportive engagement, they're doing activities, all independent or in small groups separate from the instructor. So station teaching can be very powerful as well. And then finally, well, not finally, actually number 5 is alternative teaching. And here, as you see, it's not necessarily parallel, it's not station rotation, but I may be doing a little bit more tier-based. So I may be pulling off a group of individuals and doing some intensive instruction while the other individuals are getting instruction from the primary teacher. So it's smaller group work, or it could be larger, smaller group work. Yeah, there are similarities to parallel. Yes, there are similarities to station rotation. But the difference is here is I'm going off and doing something that may be more sustainable, intensive, need to be more frequent, need to be more explicit, that the majority of individuals may not need. So by the way, the 12 individuals getting it from the general education teacher and the 4 with me, I don't rotate in another 4, rotating in another 4. That would be more station rotation. Here I'm just working with those 4 primary because of that initial support. And then finally, teaming. And teaming here, we tend to find definitely at the middle secondary level, upper elementary, where I'm coming in with different content knowledge potentially, and I'm then going back and forth. And here, it's almost like one brain, 2 bodies, where it's a tag team type of approach. The co-teacher is offering, it's complex, but it's also more satisfying to the professional in that, okay, I'm stepping in, I'm offering this assistance, okay, the teacher's off to the side, then I'm stepping in, and instead of this alternative or alternate, or instead of this observation or assistance, it's right from the get-go, we're doing it equally. Time-wise, maybe not so much, but in terms of we're both teaching, the students see us both as teachers, and we're facilitating it to be able to get all the content, the strategies, and other complexities we're trying to cover. So each one, of course, I'm covering this very briefly, each one, of course, has a fair amount of information behind it. They have a fair amount of what the roles of the instructors would be behind it. I'm giving you just the tip of the iceberg, but I want you to know that there's team teaching, there's alternative teaching, there's station rotation teaching, there's parallel teaching, there's one teach, one assist, and one teach, one observe. And those are the 6 components of primary co-teaching for more collaborative experiences. This is bringing collaboration into reality. And again, it could be 2 professionals, general education teachers. Oftentimes it's a general ed and a special ed teacher. If we're using a paraeducator, that's something different, because paraeducator would be more to support and aid, not to provide primary instruction. That's a whole nother conversation, and honestly a whole nother course. So hope that was helpful. That's it for our 4 parts when it comes to collaboration. I know I did a lot of presenting this week. I appreciate you listening to me and appreciate making some connections, and hopefully the activity will allow you to further kind of reflect and make some connections about what we covered. Great.